Hello and welcome. Hello and welcome. And today I'm going to install FreeIPA on CentOS 8. CentOS 8 is the binary clone of RTL 8, and FreeIPA, it is similar to RedHat Enterprise Linux Identity Management. So you can access all the documentation on freeipa.org and relevant. If you go to freeipa.org and find out the documentation, then most of the things which is related to RHEL8, it will point to, it is pointing to RHEL8 documentation, Reddit documentation. So I will start with the installation of CentOS 8 on a new virtual machine, KVM. So here, forward, I'm using this option here, and I'm using CentOS 8.3 2011 x86 DVD ISO, which is available on centos.org. So forward, as per Red Hat documentation, hardware recommendation, if we have 10,000 users and 100 groups, then we should have at least 4 GB RAM and 4 GB swap space. For 100,000 users and 50,000 groups, at least 16 GB of RAM and 4 GB of swap space is required. And because it is just a test machine and to slow down, to decrease the installation time, I'm just increasing the RAM and CPU also. Let's go with 10 GB default and forward. I will give it some name to the VM so that I can install easily identify. Finish. So here it is, default screen or installation screen. We got different options like we can use for troubleshooting or the rescue mode and all. So, but right now I'm just going to do the installation, so not going to discuss about all those things. Install CentOS 8. Drawcode. So here, welcome to the CentOS Linux 8 and click on continue. Using default options here, root password, let's set the root password. Since this is a non-production machine, this will not be running in a production server, production environment. I'm going to use normal password. Installation destination default, reclaim space, time and date, network and hostname. So for IPA to work fine, there are some prerequisites also. I will talk about all those things, but right now let's give it a name. Server4.on.example.com. Apply. I have this, why I choose this hostname because it is working for its, if I do the DNS query, then I have some setup done for this DNS resolution in local environment, and this server4.on.example.com, it is pointing to one of the local IP address. This is why I gave this name. Manual add 192.168.22.201 gateway DNS server. Save. Alright, so IP address is done, host name is defined. Click on done. We can now begin the installation. Let's have a look in the background what is happening. Kernel messages during the installation. We can use this option in case our installation is failing due to any reason. Then for debugging, we can send Alt Control F4 to find out what all things are happening. And we also get other logs like installation logs. Let me see. Alt 4, Alt 5. We have TTY here. 2 also. This is the Alt Control F1. So here in this we can see Tmux kind of interface. In fact, it should be Tmux. And right now we are on main Anaconda window. To Alt Control A to not Alt. We operate Tmux with the Control and A key and then combination. So Control, I'm pressing Control key, A key, and then N. It is not working, so now I'm using Alt and right arrow key. So 2 is shell, 3 is log here. 5 is program log. And on TTY4 we have storage log, TTY3 log, and TTY2 is shell. And yes, on the right side we can see in blue color switch tab, alt tab. Okay, so right now I'm using alt tab key. It is good. From one window itself we can switch between different TTYs. Otherwise we have to send key combination like Control Alt F1, Control Alt F2, etc. So this is the program log right now, what all things are happening, and this is storage log. Still installation is in progress. Let's go to shell on TTY2 or from TTY1 itself using Alt Tab key. Alt Tab. Right now I'm on main. Now I am on shell TTY dev PTS1. So let's check whether that host name resolution is happening or not. Okay, name server is 192.168.122.1. So our server name should be resolved here. Example, no, sorry, server 4.on.example.com. No, take it there. No. I will check this thing. This connection timeout. No servers could be reached. Okay, let's try with the ping. Okay. So IP is configured or not? Ifconfig. Yes, it is configured. Gateway. Default via 192.168.122.1. Okay, we'll check. Let's get this installation complete, then check why this IP is not reachable or what is the issue. Okay, alright. So it is doing the installation of graphical interface also, which should have been avoided, and I wanted to go with the minimal installation. So let's see how much time. I think it is going to take a lot of time, so I will just do the reinstallation and select minimal installation. Force reset, force off, boot option, enable boot menu. Alright, apply, attach one installation media. Let's boot the machine. Escape for boot menu, 3 for selecting media device. install, go ahead. On the servers, there's no need of installing GUI graphical interface. We should start with the minimal installation and then whatever is required dependency application dependency, we can install those components. uh, and definitely we should not install anything development packages or something which is not required on the server. To keep it simple, it helps in patching less less number of packages, then it means less number of updates to be applied on the server. Again, if you are on production server, use complex password as per standard. Here, the software selection. So by default, server with GUI was selected. I want to go with minimal installation. Okay, then we will install whatever is required. Again, installation destination done. Reclaim space, delete all, reclaim space. Okay. Hostname and network configuration. So it was server 4.on.example.com apply and IP address. Static IP address. We never gave DHCP on servers. Net mask 255 or 24 is also fine. One 192.168.122.1. Save. Done, and we can install now. Begin the installation. If you want to create some user, non-root user, then you can create here. Let's proceed. Again, let's have a look on the installation log. Control Alt F1. Alt tab key I'm using. If config. Okay, we got the IP address 192.168.122.202. Gateway. Alright, it is reachable now. Server 4.on.example.com, and second server which I'm going to use as a master server, server 3.on.example.com. Alright, it is looking fine. Network settings. Let's try to ping server 3. Okay, yes, it is reachable. So this is the beauty of Linux, that we can start working or troubleshooting during the installation also. Even we can do all the things like file system creation and all, many settings during the installation itself. Okay, it is still right now. Right now it is configuring kernel. Let's have a look on TTY1 again. Shell is available on TTY2. Okay, Alt tab. It is looking like a tmux. It is tmux. Let's see. Yes, it is on tmux. Storage log. So here, what all things are happening we can see here. Okay, almost complete installation. Bootloader installation is going on right now. And yes, grub mkconfig. Yeah. So it should be installation should be complete within few minutes. Generating kickstart. Grub installation program return code is 0, so it is fine. Alright. So installation is complete. CentOS Linux is now successfully installed and ready for you to use. Go ahead and reboot your system. Okay, let's reboot. cat etc RedHat release CentOS Linux release 8.3. So with the CentOS there are some major changes in the policy. You can find it on centos.org. I think CentOS 8 we can expect patches availability till 2021, and that is December of 2021. Yes, CentOS 8 early end of life in 2021. There are some major changes in the CentOS releases, so you can find that information in the on centos.org. Let's proceed with our IP installation. So this is server 4. I want to be on server 3. You can do it from here, server 3. So here, Installing IDM server with integrated DNS with integrated C as the root. Installing a new identity management IDM server in terms of Red Hat server with integrated DNS has the advantages. What are those advantages? You can automate much of the maintenance and DNS record management using native IDM tools. For example, DNS SRV records are automatically created during the setup and later on are automatically updated. You can have a stable connection with the rest of the internet by setting up global forwarders during the installation of the IDM server. I have this, I followed the documentation which is available on freeipa.org. You can also go there. So, yeah, I will share all the documentation links which I am following right now in the description of the video. And third benefit or advantage of using integrated CA as the root CA or DNS. You can set up a DNS reverse zone to prevent emails from your domain to be considered spam by email servers outside the IDM domain. Installing IDM with integrated DNS has certain limitations. IDM DNS is not meant to be used as a general purpose DNS server. Some of the advanced DNS functions are not supported. So, if you want to use advanced features of the DNS, then we cannot expect it from the RDM installation or FreeIPA installation. So, okay, I'm going with the interactive installation. So first thing we have to run is IPA server install. Okay, all right. Yum repo list. Unable to find a match IPA server. Ansible free IPA. Okay, let me check the documentation once again. So we have to run yum module install RDM DL1 server. Choose one of the following options depending on your IDM requirements to download the packages necessary for installing an IDM server without an integrated DNS. Then we have to run command yum module install RDM DL1 server. Let's try this one. Not integrating DNS, I'm pressing Y key for the installation to proceed. Let's run the same command on our server 4. It is almost complete installation, so we will run the same command on other server from here itself. Okay, it is taking time. I'm just pressing Alt and right arrow key to get to the console of server 4. And from here we will run the same command yum module install rdm dl1/server. Total download 176 MBs. Now I'm going to server 3 again, on which a while ago I did SSH. After installation completes, we have to run on the master server we have to run ipa-server-install. So it will go with some questions interactive, and after completing that, automatically installation will start. We can also have non-interactive installation. The IPS server install installation scripts creates a log file at varlog IPS server dash install log. It can be used for troubleshooting in case if installation fails. Okay. So server 3 will be our IPS server master, IDM server or IPS server master. So run command IPS server install. Yeah, the log file for this installation can be found in var log IPS server dash install log. The program will set up the IPS server version 4.8.7. This includes configuring the standalone CA doc tag for certificate management, and TP configuration with the cron D. Create and configure an instance of directory server. And configure a Kerberos Key Distribution Center (KDC). Configure Apache and configure the KDC to enable PKInit. To accept the default shown in brackets, press the enter key. Do you want to configure integrate DNS bind? No. Server hostname server3.on.example.com. Yeah, it is already done and we checked its resolution is working fine. Please confirm the domain name on.example. Okay, that is fine. Real name. Now we have to set the directory manager password. IPA admin password. The free IPA server requires an administrative user named admin. This user is a regular system account used for IPA server administration. Do you want to configure crony with NTP server or pool address? Yes. I don't have any NTP server locally, so we this one instead of no, it was better to use default option of going with yes. NTP must work fine. So I will just restart the installation. Continue to configure the system with these values? No. Okay, so I'm starting it again. Installation. Do you want to configure integrated DNS bind? No. Enter directory manager password. IP admin password. Do you want to configure cron with NTP server or pool address? No. Continue? Yes. Now let's have a look on other server. It takes some time to complete all the installation, IP server installation. So it all depends on how much CPU RAM we have. Because I'm going to set up a replica, so I don't think we need to run IPS server install on other server. Only the packages needs to be installed. I just pressed Alt and right arrow key to go to the other server. Okay, so installation is started here. Let's go back to IPA server or IDM server 3 again. Alright, so installation is complete, and here you must make sure these network ports are open with port number 80443 for the web interface, 309636 for LDAP and LDAPs encrypted, 8088, 88, 88 and 464 Cabros UDP ports 88464 and port number 123 for NTP. When we are registering a client to the IPS server, then we get option of selecting. We can define or automatically this IDM server is taken as NTP server. Okay, so in next video I will, yeah, here. So server 4 I'm planning to use as a replica server for server 3. Okay, so I will share next video on this replication, And also I will share that web interface for managing this IPA server or IDM server. Thanks